Welcome to my channel. My name is Rick, and today we're going to do the first episode of a series that I have that's called Discover the Beatles with Me. It was prompted by this book, which is amazing, that was given to me by one of my guitar students. Super nice gift, by the way. And it's really amazing. It contains every single Beatles song ever written in guitar tab, bass tab, drum notation, and yeah, pretty amazing. And so, yeah, in my opinion, the Beatles are just, absolute masterful songwriters. I love them to death. And so, anyway, besides learning some new songs and guitar parts, I thought I would show you, how to play the song. But also, I thought the real fun would be to kind of pick apart some interesting things they're doing, at least in my opinion. And maybe a little bit of theory involved, maybe a little bit of, try to figure out what they're thinking. But yeah, let me play the verse and the chorus right now, and then I'll show you how to play it. So, All My Loving by the Beatles. That's the verse, and then the chorus does this. Then George does that cool. Something like that. We won't do the guitar solo today, but so let's get right in the chords. It's cool too because it's all these voice things that are just on the first four strings. So F sharp minor. You're going to bar the second fret of the first three strings here, and then you're going to grab the fourth fret on the D string. Then for the B, you're going to go fourth fret here, fourth fret, fourth string, fourth fret G string, fourth fret B string, and then you're going to grab the second fret on the high E. So F sharp minor, B, E. This is a cool voicing. It's the sixth fret on the D string, fourth fret on the G, fifth fret on the B, and then you're going to bar to grab that fourth fret on the high E. Then you're going to go to C sharp minor. Is that right? Please. Yeah, that is right. C sharp minor, which you could think of it as coming from like a C sharp minor bar chord like this, if you already know that one. If you don't, sixth fret on the D, sixth fret on the G, fifth fret on the B, and then high E, you're playing the fourth fret. And then, so let's say you got A chord. Just think if you know an F chord, it's here. Just move it up to the fifth fret. So fifth fret on the high two strings, sixth fret on the G, seventh fret on the D, F sharp minor, which we already did. Then D, that's the really interesting chord to me, compositionally wise. And then B7, I'm sure you know a D chord, so I'll skip that one right now. B7 is first fret on the D, second fret on the A, second fret on the G, second fret on the high E. And then they just repeat pretty much the same thing. The only thing different is when they get to the A the second time around, they go A to B. And then E, that same E voicing you did here. So the B there, you would just take the A voicing you did here in the fifth fret, move it up 2 frets, B, and then end on the E. So that's the chords for the verse. The chorus is C sharp minor, same voicing you did before. So you could think of it coming from here, but it's this one. And they just play that, kind of more of a staccato thing there. And then this is a really interesting chord. We'll get to this one later. It's a C minor major 7 chord. Typically more often used in jazz and different things. So that one, you're playing the fourth fret on the high E. Fifth fret is both the G and the B strings here. But then you're kind of getting your little finger to come around at that sixth fret on the D string. And then the same E voicing you did before. So 2 of the chords they did in the verse, they're doing in the chorus. They're just throwing in this crazy minor major 7 chord here. So that's the chorus. That's pretty much it for the song, except for at the end they do kind of a cool variation. They do this something like that. So that's a C sharp minor chord, but you can think of it as the same voicing you did down here for the F sharp minor. Go way up to the 9th fret, bar the first 3 strings, grab the 11 on the D string. There's your C sharp minor. You can think of it as coming from this chord. And then they do a different rhythm, which is also kind of a nice little, tiny little detail change at the end. And then there's an E chord, again, same thing as if you did for the A or the B. Just go up to the 12th fret for your first string, 13th fret on the G, 14th fret on the D, E, and then at the end they hit I think just a big normal E chord. So yeah, if you think about even like the sound of the continuity, let's get into some of the songwriting and just the thoughts. And again, I'm a lifetime learner. I definitely don't know everything about theory, and so I'm happy to hear people's comments if they want to leave them below, if they have any ideas, but I'll just give you my couple thoughts here. So, so first of all, it's in the key of E major, but they start on F sharp minor chord, which is pretty interesting. So let's walk through the chords of E major first, just to get you acquainted with that. So really quickly, it's just E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C sharp minor, D sharp diminished, and then you could end on E. So the way you refer to it is in the key of E, 1, 2, the second chord of the key of E is F sharp minor. I tend to do the thumb Hendrix thing, but you can do it this way too. So that's what they're doing. They're starting on the 2 chord of the key of E, which is, I think, already cool and interesting sounding. When they go to the B, that's the 5 chord of E. So, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B chord, B chord, B chord. So that's the 5 chord. So you got 2 chord, 5 chord. The E is the key, the 1 chord. C sharp minor, that's the 6 chord. A, that's the 4 chord. Back to the 2 chord. And then the D is interesting. We'll come back to that in a second. And then B7 is just another 5 chord. If you think about it, what happened there? Well, a B chord would be consisting of a B major triad would be B, D sharp, F sharp. When you do a B7 chord, you're adding a flat 7 interval, which is an A note. And A is in the key of E, therefore that works. So let's talk about that D chord for a second. So there's probably a couple different ways you could look at it, I suppose. But the way I look at it is that in the key of A, like Louie kind of thing, A is 1, D is the 4 chord, E is the 5 chord. So in the song, they use the A chord and the E chord, and the D chord, you could think of it as like they went into the key of A just for a second, because that portion they go, oh, by the way, F sharp minor is in the key of A also. It's the 6th chord. So like you do the key of A, B minor, C sharp minor, D, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished. So I'm thinking they're going from A major, 1 chord of our new temporary key of A, to F sharp minor, 6 chord of the key of A, D, 4 chord of A, and then they get out of the key back to B7, which is, now you're back in the key of E. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's probably what they're doing. The reason I'm like totally fascinated and always will be is that this song was written in 1963. It was off the second Beatles album with the Beatles. So Paul was born in 1942, which makes him 21 when he recorded this, or released it, we'll say. So there's a really good chance he was 20 years old when he wrote it. John Lennon is 2 years older than Paul. So he would have been, again, 22, maybe 23. Yeah, it's just amazing to me that they wrote, I mean, this is like the easier, simple Beatles stuff. compared to later on when they just, went, amazingly, more complicated and more, different time signatures and just, endless cool stuff. I have a friend that we often kid how the Beatles are aliens, just because it's like, where did this come from, But especially like, if I lived 1,000 years, I could never write a song like Beatles songs, and they were doing it when they're 20 years old. I mean, amazing. So that's my take on that. I think they're just throwing in that one chord. Of course, it just sounds cool, and that's the thing too. It's like, did they do it by ear? Probably just did it by ear. I'm sure they picked up some theory over the years, but probably just by ear. I don't know. I would love to know that. I'd probably ask Paul and any of the Beatles a dozen other questions first. But actually, maybe that would be in the top 10 or 12 questions. How much music theory did they know? Onto the chorus quick here. So C sharp minor. That's just the 6th chord of the key of E. So they're heading into the relative minor of E, and that all you do is you just take the 6th chord of whatever major key you're in, and that's the relative minor. We could talk about that more later, but that's kind of the quick nuts and bolts of it. Now this is the really interesting chord. They go to a minor major 7 chord, which again is more of a jazz kind of sound, and then to the E. So a couple things here. A friend of mine taught me, I lived in Greenwich Village, New York City for part of the summer of '94, and my friend showed me this thing called a line cliche in jazz, where you take this idea, so basically this chromatic descending line, and I think that's actually what they're doing here. They're going, this C sharp note on the G string here changes to a C natural, and then it's cool because then they go to an E chord. So they don't go to a minor 7th chord like I was doing a minute ago, but they go to this, and then so you still do have that little chromatic thing going there, which again is just like mind blowing. Where did they come up with this minor major 7 chord just by ear? If anybody knows, let me know. I'd love to know. But where it gets even more fascinating is Paul's bass line. Let's see if we can do this here. He's doing something like. So he's just doing like that on the C sharp minor, C sharp note to G sharp note, something like that, or he might go like that. It's something like that, the bass line. So he's either that or. But anyway, when he goes to the when they go to the specifically the chord, if you include the guitar chord and the bass note, it's a C sharp minor major 7 chord over C, because the bass note is a different. It's not a C sharp. It's a C. So Paul's going C, G sharp, and that's pretty interesting. Although it makes sense because the note we changed when we went from the C sharp minor to the C sharp minor major 7 is this note. So that's a C note, that's the note that changed, that's the note that's Paul's playing. And then I think on the E, just does something like, just like a E to B kind of thing. So that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Anyway, especially this early Beatles, because I think, in my opinion, they even kept developing as songwriters even more and more as time went on. So that's kind of the interesting thing there with the chorus. One thing I really want to mention, though, is the strum. So from a technique standpoint, to me, this is amazing. They're going, doing triplets, triplet, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and pretty fast pace, too. They're like, so that's kind of mind-blowing to me, because I don't, as much as I love the Beatles, to death, I don't think of them as shredding really difficult guitar parts usually. Every once in a while, they surprise me though. So that's an example where that's just like, and try it. Like even if you've been playing some really crazy, technically demanding stuff, if you haven't kept that speed of triplets up for a while, it's a little tricky. So so that's the chords. That's some theory perspectives. And what else? Did I talk about the end here? Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So that is the idea. I'm just gonna kind of like, I think pick maybe a song out of here. Maybe once a month would be kind of cool. So 229 Beatles songs that will take about 20 years. Gives me something to do for 20 years. Extra hobby on top of the, yeah. So anyway, hope you enjoy this, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.